2 weeks ago, I stepped into the empire I'd forged, my company, my vision, every sacrifice etched into its foundation, only to watch my own family hand it to my sister. My father met my gaze and declared, "She's CEO now. You must strive harder." No forewarning, no remorse, just a dismissive smile. But they were unaware of the one asset I'd safeguarded, a truth poised to shatter their triumph. And trust me, it's a truth that stings like a hidden blade. Stay with me for the next 6 minutes as this tale of betrayal unveils what happens when you underestimate the wrong woman. I am Elise Harper, founder of Harper and Associates. That morning, the air carried the scent of polished wood and ambition. I entered my headquarters, a monument to my relentless drive, my name still etched above the reception. Elise Harper, founder. It felt like sanctuary. Yet something was amiss. The receptionist averted her gaze. An aide thrust a program into my hands and vanished. I glanced at it. Executive transition ceremony, my name, relegated to fine print. No address, no role, merely a relic. My pulse surged. The marble floors seemed to waver. I pushed open the boardroom doors, and there they sat. Investors, executives, my parents, and my sister, Nora, radiant as if she'd already claimed victory. My seat? Erased. A placard now read, Chief Visionary Officer, Nora Harper. I took a place at the rose edge, a ghost in my own legacy. What was unfolding? My father grasped the podium, his voice warm, as if poised to laud my contributions. Elise is the cornerstone, the steel, the vision behind our success, he proclaimed. I nearly trusted his words. Then he pivoted to Nora. And now we usher in our new CEO, Nora Harper. The applause roared, deafening. My breath caught. Nora ascended, delivering a speech I'd crafted years prior, every syllable stolen as if it were hers. My mother applauded, her eyes never meeting mine. They'd orchestrated this for months, in secret. I'd built this enterprise through sleepless nights, through crises, through every barrier that sought to break me. Now, they were erasing me. Yet I held my composure. I didn't flee. My fingers brushed the antique pen in my pocket, a gift from my mother at 18, inscribed with E.H., forge ahead. She'd whispered, "Power thrives in silence." I clutched it, a lifeline. They craved silence. I'd deliver it, a silence that strikes like a storm. I proceeded to my office, but my credentials failed. Access denied. My aide murmured, "Your title's been reassigned." My portrait on the wall, replaced by a generic slogan. Even the executive suite I'd financed bore Nora's name. I was an outsider in my own legacy, but I wasn't finished. Not by far. In my car, the silence was thick. The engines hum a ticking clock. I opened my journal and penned a single line. They claimed everything with smiles, but I held the truth. Then I placed a call, not to my family, but to Marcus, my counsel, who knew every contract I'd ever sealed. He answered swiftly. "I expected your call," he said. My chest tightened. He held a secret. But what? Years ago, my father urged me to sign a document. Mere formalities, he'd assured, vowing I'd remain his partner. I trusted him. I overlooked the fine print. My error. Yet Marcus had preserved something. A draft, unsigned, proving I retained 62% of the company. They believed they'd triumphed. They thought I'd vanish. They didn't know I was rewriting the finale. 3 days later, I stood in a boardroom, confronting those who'd cheered my sister. I presented the unsigned draft. This, I declared, is the reality. My sister was never CEO, not legally, not ever. The room stilled. My father's composure faltered, his face ashen. Nora rose, exclaiming, "You signed it." I offered a measured smile. "No, Nora, you saw a draft." The board stirred. Power shifted. Yet this wasn't the culmination. A darker revelation loomed. That night, a crimson envelope lay at my door. No postage, only my name, scrawled with intent. Inside, a cease and desist from my father's attorney, branding me a threat to my own company. Then my phone rang. Marcus's voice was taut. "They're leaking your journal. My private reflections, my vulnerabilities, my doubts were distorted into headlines, fallen founders unraveling. They weren't merely erasing me, they were dismantling me. My laptop glitched. Files had been accessed remotely. My family wasn't just betraying me, they were invading my sanctity, weaponizing my innermost thoughts." I stood in my kitchen, the cease and desist in one hand, my pen in the other. I didn't shout. I wrote one line. The day they erased me, I began documenting. That was my arsenal. The truth. And it cut deeper than they could fathom. At a charity gala, I took the stage, not as a casualty, but as a founder. I held aloft the notarized proof of my ownership. "The vision you celebrated, the brand you revered, it's mine," I stated. Nora protested. My father stared, mute. The room erupted, but I sought no accolades. I sought to reclaim my identity. They thought they could erase me with smiles and signatures. They forgot who laid the foundations they stood upon. This isn't vengeance, it's veracity. My pen, my records, my legacy, they're mine, and no one can wrest them away. What would you do if someone tried to erase your legacy? Share your point of view, comment, and subscribe for more stories of resilience.